Say yes every day to the world and to your heart. Open up your eyes and let your spirit start. Say yes to the dreams you hold inside. Let your soul be your guide and say yes every day.
Thank you for joining us today for another episode of Wednesday Wisdom. Today, we are joined by the incredible Amanda Tagalakis. She is the manager of Global Mortgage Market Strategy at nCino. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Amanda. We are thrilled to have you here. And when we kick off Wednesday Wisdom, we always begin with, as we go through our life, we learn little lessons and nuggets of advice. And I think that sometimes we forget some of those instrumental things that have positively affected us. So we'd like to begin with, what is something that you would like to share with all of us, and how has that affected your life?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Laura. I'm excited to be here. So one thing that my first job out of college, my boss told me when your boss calls you into their office, now it's a little bit different, right? Because a lot of us are remote. But for those that are in office, or even if you're remote, he said to me, never come into my office. When I call you in, never come in without a notebook or a pen. So I always, no matter where I'm heading, have a notebook and a pen, because you never know what someone's going to say, whether it be your boss or your colleague or just someone, in life that says something interesting that you want to jot it down. If you have a notebook or a pen with you, that'll help you remember and go back to that moment. So that's always stuck with me. And then as I've grown and become a manager, that's something I've always told folks that work for me is that, a piece of advice, come to my office or come to a meeting ready to take notes, because who knows where the conversation happens, and I might say something and there might be an action out of it. So that's one thing that's stuck with me for years.
So this is a perfect example. As I said, that we learn these lessons and sometimes we forget how much it's impacted us, right?
Yeah.
And as you're saying it, right, I'm kind of giggling to myself inside, because I think to myself that I was taught that lesson very, very long time ago. And to this day, I never go anywhere. And it doesn't matter about the technology I use, because it's proven. I mean, you know this, especially you just picked up a notebook. You know that it's proven that when we write something down, it connects in our brain completely different than when we type something.
Oh, totally.
And
Yeah.
so the fact of number one, the first lesson in that, sometimes when we're working with the younger generation, or even if it's not the younger generation, just we're working with a new team member, someone joins us, I have found that so many times we just assume people know things, or we assume that someone has learned this, right? But we don't necessarily set them up for success if we don't explain to them what we expect or how we expect them to perform, right? So that's a perfect example of that was so valuable that person, number one, they took the time to tell you that. Now,
Yeah.
even though it seems like a small thing, it's a very large thing, because they did two things. One, they wanted to give you a piece of advice for your future, but two, they told you how to be successful with them, of how they want you to act with them so that they're setting you up to perform and be your best self as a team member. So huge lesson. So Amanda, okay, so you took this lesson, you obviously listened, you obviously, added that as, ooh, that's a good thought, I'm going to do that. So the first thing I want to ask you about is that, right? If we're speaking to people, because so many times we could certainly give the advice, that doesn't mean everyone listens to the advice or follows the advice, right? So I want your thoughts on that, right? And your kind of advice on that part of it. And then going forward, how has that helped your career? How has that kind of guided you along as you became a leader?
Yeah, so I mean, the advice I'll give is me personally as a manager, I can sometimes be thinking about things before I say them or just kind of all over the place, right? So when I'm talking to my team, they're constantly taking notes because I'll kind of be like, oh yeah, and that we have to do that, you know. So my advice is to just it takes some practice. It took me some practice to constantly bring a notepad with me everywhere. But once you start doing it on a regular basis, it'll be like muscle memory to grab your notepad and your pen, whether that be again remote or at a conference or in the office. um, and then apologies, what was the second part of that
Well,
question?
the second part is okay, first it's implementing, and then the
Yeah,
second part is how do you encourage people regardless of what it is, right? Like
yeah,
regardless of what the lesson is, how do you encourage people to provide these nuggets of sharing these types of tips and tricks and expectations as you're building a team, right? Because I think
yeah.
this is a really good leadership lesson as a whole of setting that stage to make sure that our team members are excelling and meeting your expectation. Because I
Totally.
find that so many times we make assumptions as leaders, right? I
Yes.
mean, we're taking people with all different backgrounds and all different knowledge base and all different lessons that they've learned in their past, good and not so good. But I don't know if we always do an excellent job of communicating that and
Yeah,
really setting that stage and reinforcing that to set them up to win and be
totally.
successful. So, what's your advice from a leadership perspective?
Yeah, so from a leadership perspective, I'm constantly wanting my team to grow and excel and to lead others that are on other teams, or we work with so many different people in our day-to-day life, right? So I have team members that are using Claude or ChatGPT to just excel in skills that maybe we could use AI for, right? That allows us to take the time to be more strategic. So when they come to me and say, "Hey, can I show you something?" I always say, like, you have to share that with the rest of the group, or let's get you on our next larger team call so that you can have a moment to share this great tool with folks. Because if it works for you, then it probably will work for other people.
I love that. And I'm glad you kind of went down the AI road because I was about to go there with that,
Yeah.
right? So we've seen so much change, right? We're watching this evolve. We're watching every single day. There's a new, I actually have this little tiny ball that's like this is a shiny object that's every day there's another one coming at us,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
with that, we can kind of get lost in that, but yet we know how valuable all of this is, and we know the opportunities in that. So going down that same leadership track, and I appreciate you saying, listen, bring it to me, but let's not just keep it in a vacuum. Let's not
Totally.
silo it. Let's explore. Let's see how else we can utilize this. Let's expand it, and let's have them use their voice, right? Let's
Yeah.
allow them that spotlight to use that voice. So, how are some of the changes? What things have you noticed in terms of this evolution, especially in the last, let's say, 12 months, especially with AI?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I will say I never thought that I would use it to share conference findings. So I happened to be at a conference last week in Boston. I took my manual notes, but then I put all of those notes into Claude because, sometimes when you are taking notes, it's a little disjointed, but I was
Yep.
able to put the session title and then my notes from that. And then Claude took it and made it into a more digestible format and then shared it via Slack to the rest of the group on what I had learned at that conference. So
Look at
that
that.
was a huge time saver for sure. And I find my team doing similar things. Like I said, one of them just, he made like a skill, and we nominated him because at nCino, we're really trying to get folks to use and leverage AI
Yeah.
when they can, right? Or where it makes sense. And so he won one of our internal AI awards before his use of Claude and AI, and which is it's tremendous. It's helping folks take the tasks that like need to happen every day, but take up time and allow them to work on other projects and just be more efficient and get more done, which is exciting. I think AI can be scary, but the moments that it took Claude to get that Slack message out for me allowed me to then maybe proof something for someone on my team or answer in a couple emails. So it allows you to get to other tasks that need to happen throughout your day as well.
Yeah,
So
I
I would
will.
say oh, sorry.
Oh, no, no, keep going. Keep
I was
going.
gonna say my advice is to use it as like your sidekick, as your like little assistant almost.
I think you're spot on. I think you're spot on in terms of that, right? There is not a replacement. There
No.
is a ease of use, and to your point, a virtual assistant, something like that. And I'll tell you something that, of course, I use AI every single day, and I will tell you one of the things I use it for, kind of similar to what you were saying about the conference notes. I send a morning email to my entire company. So every day at 5 o'clock in the morning, everyone knows the first email you're going to get, it will be from me, and it's a
Well,
synopsis of the day before. So
mhm.
we report how many families did we help? How many new families came into the pipeline? What lessons did we learn? What positive recognition are we spotlighting because a client wanted to do a shout out on something? And if I had to sit there thinking and organizing all of that in my brain, it probably would take me an hour to really think about making sure it sounds right and making sure it's professional. But I can sit
Mhm.
there at 4:30 in the morning just typing all this stuff into the AI, and it quickly organizes it and makes it structured and beautiful and in my voice because it's used to me doing it every single day.
Yeah,
That is an effective and productive use of time, right?
I agree.
So
Yep.
there, the team gets to hear from me every day. It's in my voice. It's not someone else doing it, but yet it allows to, just like your conference notes, organize that. So, Amanda, where do you think it's going? Right? So here we are. We're speaking about wisdom. We're speaking about lessons. We're speaking about our teams and leadership. I mean, is
Yeah.
it sky's the limit? Right? Is it like literally just unlimited here?
I think so. The conference I was at was all about how AI is changing our day-to-day lives, right? I truly think we're in a really amazing moment in time where we're able to leverage AI for ourselves, but then I see other companies and nCino, right, like using it
Yeah.
as a way to help our customers or our customers' customers. And I see so many different companies doing that, and it's truly amazing. I really think it can be um, a tool that just is game changing when it comes to not just more the mortgage space, right? But
No.
like all spaces. Like in my day to day, I talk to friends and folks that are leveraging it for all sorts of different things. And yeah, I mean, it's truly a wonderful tool that if you embrace it and you embrace it the right way, and again, like you said, it's not a replacement.
No.
It's like if you use it as a partner,
Correct.
then it's your like virtual assistant or kind of like a dual workforce that we have at our fingertips to just be more efficient and get more done. And then in the mortgage space, right, in your world, it allows you to spend more time building relationships versus doing like the little tasks throughout your day that do need to happen,
Yeah.
but the relationship building is truly what matters in the
Well,
mortgage.
Amanda, you just dropped the biggest piece of wisdom that you could possibly say, because for anyone that is scared or reluctant about AI, the biggest thing to remember is what Amanda just said. The people in the future, and whatever that future is, a month from now, 10 years from now, it really
Yeah,
doesn't matter what the future is, right? It's not a long time away. It's right now and beyond.
yeah,
The people that are going to always be successful are the people using the right tools. Yes, you're going to use those shiny objects and those great tools, but have the strongest relationships.
yeah,
And to your point, no matter what the tool is, right? It doesn't matter if it's AI or not,
yeah,
whatever the tool is, it's the relationship that keeps you connected and shows your value. That's
yeah,
the differentiator. So
totally.
share your insights on that.
I mean, I remember, gosh, I want to say like 20 years ago, maybe a little less, but that when mobile or virtual applications, 1003s were a new thing, and I was working for a lender, and I was trying to get my loan officers to adopt this application, and they gave me pushback because they said, no, I build my relationship sitting across the table from my borrower and taking down the 1003, like all the information. And I
And
said, you can still,
giving them carbon copies.
yes, but you can still meet with that person across from, they can still be across from the table or they're on the phone. But either way, you're putting it into a digital application or version of that. And that's fine as long as you're still giving the advice and that person is truly coming to you for. So it doesn't
Yeah,
matter which format it comes in. You're still building that relationship because you're the expert
that's it.
that's guiding them throughout this very scary process.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of going back into the past, and that wasn't AI at all. But if you embrace that a tool like that, I mean, you can see where that has evolved and now is evolving. It's wild.
Yeah. But that's the part that will never change. It's
No.
the part that will never change. At the end of the day, and you use the word scary, right? It's absolutely frightening going
Hmm.
through the process of, especially your first home, right? Going through that process, the unknown, and you need that mortgage professional to guide. And I don't care how many videos you watch, I don't care how many articles you read, I don't care how much you ask ChatGPT.
Yeah.
You want a human to guide you through it. Yes,
Yes.
that's great that you can do some research and you can get educated, but at
Yeah.
the end of the day, you still want that human. And that's where our value comes in, right? And regardless if
100%.
it's mortgage or if it's going to the doctor, or whether you like
Yeah.
whatever it is, it really doesn't matter what industry it's in. You still want a professional when it comes to certain things. And that relationship
Totally.
makes the difference for sure.
Well, you say something that kind of sparks, like, it's a good analogy, right? Like, if you have an ailment of sorts and you go to, an AI chatbot, or if you
Mhm.
Google it
Yeah, you
even
go
and
to
say, these are,
WebMD.
yeah, these are my symptoms.
Yeah.
What's going to come up could be quite frightening, but you need you need that doctor, that health professional that's going to say, actually, it's just this, not that scary, and all you need is, some medication or whatever. So it's kind of a good analogy, right? Like
It
you
is.
can do all this research and think you know all the things, but truly, as long as you have that professional, that expert, they're going to guide you into the right, health
Yeah,
ailment or whatever, or the right loan program,
that's exactly
because
right.
AI can't do that. So,
That's right. And so for everyone listening, always remember that your greatest value is you as a human mortgage professional. And again, whatever profession you're in, it doesn't make any difference. It's the same thing. You're the expert. You have to lead them and use that. Don't ever be afraid of the AI. All right. So
mhm.
Amanda, we're going to wrap up here, and we love to end on a really, really big question, because I believe that when we say things, we're kind of planting things for the future. Okay.
Mhm.
So we're going to take out our little magic wand. And if I was to say to you, you currently have unlimited resources and unlimited knowledge to do anything, what would that one thing be that you would want to bring to life?
Oh man. I'm a really big reader. I love reading. And so I would love to do something with, I have a daughter, so I'd love to do something in like a nonprofit or something in the education space to help show young kids the value of reading and the importance of reading. But also have like a mobile library of some
Oh,
sort, like fix up an old truck and have a
love
bunch
that.
of books and then park it at a park or somewhere and just be a resource for all
Well,
things
Amanda,
literature.
I can picture that. Like, I mean, I can like see it. I see the truck. I see some beautiful artwork on it. Like, I see it like in a park where kids are
Yeah,
playing. Like, I can envision this whole thing. So,
yeah.
so I can see that happening, and I'm sure one day that will absolutely
Someday.
happen. And
Someday I have
I
more to
love that.
accomplish in the mortgage space for sure. So I in our world, like we do so much to help folks. Like you said, how many families did we help get into homes? I love that. Like it just that I love that message
The
versus
big, it's we are very blessed to be.
yes.
I kind of say we were chosen for the mortgage industry. I kind of don't believe we choose it. I think we're kind of like tapped in this, like not everybody can handle this industry, and I think the people
Yeah,
that have been in it and excel at it were kind of selected for the mission of
I love
helping
that.
families. So yes, we're all part of that, and we're making that do. So Amanda, please, thank now first off, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing your brilliance with us. How can people learn more about you and nCino?
Well, they can certainly reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm not as active as I should be, but maybe I'll start using AI to help me post more. Um, I, um, I am on there, so feel free to reach out. I do monitor my inbox. And then nCino, you can go to nCino.com, but we're at a ton of industry conferences. I'm usually also there. So I would love to just say hi and meet folks. I just love chatting all things mortgage. I have a hat that says mortgage on it that I wear around town, and people ask me if I'm a loan originator. I'm not, but work in the mortgage space, and I have a lot of connections. So I just love it, and because you are helping folks. So yeah, come find me at a conference or on LinkedIn, and I'd love to chat over coffee or drink.
Love it. Thank you so much, Amanda. Keep shining bright.
Thank you.